Hi, everyone. My name is Carole Lyles Shaw, and I want to share with you some information about the Modern Quilt Academy, my online membership program for quilters of all types. First, a bit about me. I am a modern quilter. I also make art quilts, and occasionally I will make a traditional quilt. I teach workshops online. And I'm also a lecturer. I love giving lectures to guilds. I'm an author with 2 books about modern quilting, and I have a very active blog. Lastly, I'm a co-founder of the Sarasota Modern Quilt Guild in Sarasota, Florida. I love to teach. I really love to teach. I love sharing my step-by-step processes with my students. I try to show you all the tips and tricks and things I've learned along the way. I love sharing my favorite tools, although I tend to keep that pretty simple. I love sharing my favorite fabrics, and sometimes I'll share my fabric experiments with you when I'm using fabrics that I don't typically use. I love helping students move from making more traditional pieced quilts to modern and even art quilts in a fun and gentle way. Teaching means I am willing to have you learn from my mistakes. And sometimes in my demo videos, you'll see me experiment, make a choice, and I say right out loud, I'm not sure this is going to work. And occasionally it doesn't. But there's always a way to work around it to make your final piece very successful. I love finding the new ideas, new ways of thinking about quilting and quilt making, which means I am really trying to move you and me outside our individual and collective comfort zones. Lastly, I love creating learning communities. And I'll say more about that as I talk about what's involved in the Modern Quilt Academy. Registration is open, and you can scan this QR code or go to my website to find out more about the Modern Quilt Academy and how to register. So what is the Modern Quilt Academy? First of all, it's a membership program that embraces many different quilting styles and interests. Although I use the word modern, I really think about that as the quilts that we are all making today because we're influenced by so many different genres, including the modern quilt movement, modern traditional quilts, Afro-modern quilts, which is one of my favorite genres, art quilting, sustainable quilting, and what I would call emerging, undefined, and evolving quilting styles, because we're all always coming up with brand new ideas that obviously build on our long quilting tradition. The Modern Quilt Academy is a private online site hosted on Zenler. There are flexible membership plans. You can join as an annual member, or you can join on a monthly basis. It includes a whole host of on-demand workshops. There are PDF workbooks and patterns, and the PDFs are full color, and you can download those workbooks and keep them to use as you make the quilts and the quilt projects that are included in the Academy. There will be live Zoom sessions. Some of those sessions will include tutorials. They will always include Q&A, and even show and share. And some of those Zoom sessions will also have special guests. There is an online private community right inside the Modern Quilt Academy site. You don't have to go on Facebook or any other platform. Everything is right on the site and accessible to you as soon as you log in. So, what are some of the current and upcoming on-demand workshops? Now, these workshops are complete workshops with pre-recorded tutorials, and as I mentioned, the PDF downloads. And occasionally I will add or update the lessons with some new versions of the quilts that I'm making. So some of the workshops include the Mid-Century Modern Curves workshop, Parisian curves in 2 different types, the Fractured Disappearing 9-patch quilt. A relatively new workshop is the Doorways quilt, and of course, Sustainability and Stash Jazz. In addition, some of the other workshops include the Half Rectangle Triangle Joy workshop, Pinwheel Improv, which is a modern to traditional workshop, a workshop where we work with Afro-modern quilts or bold modern prints to make improvisational squares. There's also the Sarasota Sunset workshop. Some additional workshops that are being developed will include the Celebration quilts, a workshop where I will help you use family documents and even old photographs, print them on fabric, and make quilts, one-of-a-kind art quilts that help you preserve and celebrate your family history. Another upcoming workshop will include using text on fabric. And I'll show you some ways to create lettering on fabric, but you won't need any type of fancy cutting machine. We're going to dive into improvisational log cabins and jelly roll race, where we will use fast strips and jelly rolls to make improvisational quilts. And I'll really talk a lot about mixing the fabrics and even using stash fabrics to make those fast strip quilts. Another workshop that I'm developing will focus on making and displaying small fabric collages, because sometimes we just want to make a piece of art, textile art, to hang on the wall. One area of the Academy includes the foundations. I call these the foundations because they are tutorials pre-recorded that give us some basic information that applies across all of the different projects. There will be tutorials about what is a modern quilt? What are some of the modern quilt design principles? For instance, we'll dive into negative space and minimalism, as well as other design principles. I'll share with you some of my thoughts on improvisational piecing and design. I'll share with you a tool that really helps me capture ideas is my design journal. And lastly, there will be tutorials on some of the fundamentals like pressing and making your blocks, particularly improv blocks, really flat so that your total top really lays flat, how to make faced bindings, how to use fusibles, and those kinds of tools and techniques. There's a webinar library. Now, we will have live webinars that you can attend over Zoom, live and in person. And all of those live webinars, or nearly all of them, will be recorded for you to watch later at your leisure in the Modern Quilt Academy. Some of the webinars that have already been uploaded include eccentric quilting, going beyond the grid, using ombre fabrics, color tools, and a couple of the new or upcoming webinars will include negative space and minimalism and geometric abstraction. Plus, There will be new webinars that will include some of my quilt buddies as guest lecturers. There's a pattern library, and it will include full color PDF downloads of some of the patterns that I've been creating over the years. There will be video tutorials for some of those patterns, and I keep making new tutorials over time and adding them to that library. You'll also receive a complete PDF book, Patriotic Modern Quilts. And the video tutorials about this book will include how to take those patterns and substitute different types of fabrics, so you don't have to make those patterns in red, white, and blue. There is a community in the Modern Quilt Academy, and it's a really, really important component of the experience. I really encourage you to log in and check out the community. What have people been posting? Because sometimes you will get ideas from the questions and example quilts that people are making and posting for all to share. It is a completely private space hosted inside the Modern Quilt Academy site. You don't have to go to Facebook or anything like that. It's a place for you to ask questions and, as I said, post your own work and reply and have conversations, start dialogues, and hopefully make some new acquaintances from around the world. So what do some of my students say about my virtual classes? You can see these quotes on the screen, but fundamentally, people say that my courses are well organized. I pack a ton, loads of information in the classes, and they are really the next best thing to being together in a classroom. Now, in some ways, learning virtually or online is a bit better than being in a classroom, because when you're online taking a virtual class, you have all of your materials right there with you. So I hope that you will consider joining me. As I said, registration is open. You can scan this QR code with your phone or go to my website. I look forward to meeting you all in the Modern Quilt Academy. And please feel free to go to my website, go to the comments page or contact me page if you have any questions. I'm always happy to hear from you. Thanks so much. Talk with you soon, and happy modern quilting.